15 students and I came to this wonderful program called Microcampus, where we got to stay in Xizhou for 28 days and learn more about ourselves in a completely different environment. In our stay in Xizhou, we all had to do something called the Inquiry Project. Before coming to Xizhou, we were all required to pick a topic that interested us the most. The topic that I picked is economics case study, where you learn about a particular business. I chose this topic since I've always loved the idea of owning a small business, and for this topic, I can know what the steps are and what challenges that I would have to face. My partner for my inquiry project is Mrs. Zhang, and she is the Rushan business owner and maker. What people have to know before owning a Rushan business is that in order to understand how to be in charge of a Rushan business, one must consider the physical parts, the economics, and also the emotional part. This is Mrs. Zhang. She is 39 years old and already has made Rushan for 6 to 7 years. Before Mrs. Zhang can make Rushan, she has to milk the cows in order to get the fresh milk. Before each meal, Mrs. Zhang milks the cows so that she can have a sustainable amount of milk to make the Rushan. As Mrs. Zhang is owning a business, she also has to pay for all the materials, or else she wouldn't be able to make so many Rushan pieces. There are many things that she has to pay for, such as the materials that she needs to use to make the Rushan, the supplies that she needs to feed the cows for, and also the electricity that she uses to activate the stove and make the Rushan in the pot. There are actually many different ways you can eat the Rushan pieces. In my opinion, my favorite ones are the dried ones and also the ones that are fresh from the pot. Many tourists come to buy Rushan from Mrs. Zhang. Most of them prefer the grilled ones and also the dried ones. The fried kind of Rushan is the normal way of making Rushan, but then if you add either sugar or salt, that makes the Rushan much more tastier. Of course, there are some days when Mrs. Zhang doesn't want to do this job and just rest, but then she has to keep making Rushan every day in order to keep it in stock. Mrs. Zhang has a neighbor that is also making Rushan, but then her neighbor thinks of making Rushan as a competition since Mrs. Zhang receives much more customers than her. But there are also some good days when Mrs. Zhang actually wants to make a lot of Rushan since she has nothing to do in her day. Also, when the days are sunny, Mrs. Zhang is much more happier than the days that it is raining, since if it is raining, her Rushan pieces wouldn't dry at all. Also, while Mrs. Zhang is working on Rushan on holidays or weekends, she might have to make some extra Rushan for the tourists since there will be much more coming on the holidays. That means that her kids are also at home and they don't have school, and that means extra work for Mrs. Zhang since she has to take care of the kids and also make extra Rushan pieces. Microcampus is a learning experience like nothing that I've ever done before. Many things were taught to me during these days. Many mistakes were made too, but all of us learn from those. I've actually learned many things that I didn't know about myself back in Shanghai. I learned that even though if there are hard times, you still have to keep on going. These 28 days have taught me so many things that I am thankful for. I got to meet the lovely lady named Mrs. Zhang, who taught me so much about her business, and I'm thankful for what she has helped me with. I wish that I can come back and visit this lovely place called Xizhou.